Tonight, the personal London tragedies coming out of the India air disaster. Amid the desperate wait for news, the prayers for those who will never return home.
You know, mom is mom. Nobody take a place of her.
Yeah, they were incredibly electric, especially as a couple. You could really feel the chemistry and the love between them.
Also on the programme tonight, a court hears how the man accused of murdering a schoolboy with a sword allegedly killed his own pet cat before going on the rampage. It's just not fair. We're invited on a TfL ticket-dodging crackdown and meet those trying to stop it.
We do have instances where we do have to physically intervene and carry people out of the stations.
A Ritz cracker. We sent Sally to meet the man behind the London hotel voted the capital's best restaurant.
Got to the last two and they called out Moore Hall. I went, get in! And it wasn't meant bad for him, it was just, I knew we had won.
Good evening. It was a tragedy almost 4,500 miles away, but the impact of the Air India disaster is being felt here in London, where families grieve those missing, feared dead among the debris. 53 British people were on board the flight that went down immediately after takeoff yesterday. The plane was bound for London, and communities around the capital are doing what they can to support the families of victims. Antoine Allen reports.
Just moments after taking off, tragedy struck the skies of India. Today, more victims of the London-bound airplane disaster are being mourned. The worshippers at this Hindu temple in Queensbury received tragic news that they knew 9 of those on board.
It's a shocking news for me when I heard about this crash initially, and then as the day progressed, we come to know who are on the flights. When we have seen the list of the passengers, at that time we feel that we have lost many loved ones.
One of them was 79-year-old Manjulabeen Patel. Mrs. Patel was due to come back to London and continue her years of volunteering at the Hindu temple.
She loves to prepare food for God and the community members. When she is here, cooking is one of her good hobbies.
And even at the age of 79, she was old enough to retire, but she wanted to dedicate her life to helping this community.
Yes, that is true.
The other volunteers believe Mrs. Patel will be a huge loss to their community.
She had a great personality. She used to get on with the younger and the olders. I mean, when she used to come here, she used to stay at my house. And even my children and my grandchildren, they're all quite bonded with her. And they were very upset when they heard about the tragic news.
All but one of the 242 people on the Gatwick-bound flight died when it crashed into a residential area shortly after takeoff on Thursday. On the flight were 3 of Maulik's family members.
I lost my mom, my uncle and auntie.
He received the tragic news whilst working in Nigeria. He expected to see his mum when he returned to the capital. He is struggling to come to terms with the loss.
In the morning, once we wake up, we all family just do video call, talk to my mom and all. And now I don't know what I'll do every Sunday morning.
Also on the flight were Jamie and Fingal Greenlaw Meat.
We are at the airport, just boarding. Goodbye, India. Goodbye.
Who ran a wellness centre in London. Despite fears they were among the dead, their friends are finding solace in the fact that they were together in their last moments.
They were incredibly electric, especially as a couple. You could really feel the chemistry and the love between them, and incredibly bright people, warm people.
Flowers are being left at India House. As more names are revealed, prayers and offers of condolences will be expressed to those mourning across the capital and the country.
Antoine, we're a day on now, but there's still so many stories of grief emerging here, aren't there?
Yes, the nature of a disaster like this means that emergency services will be searching through all of the victims to try and reunite them with their family. Many people across the capital have already made their way to India, but we heard today that a mosque in Newham is helping people with those visa applications. But the big question will be, what has caused this tragedy? India's civil aviation minister said that a black box has been found the Indian airplane crash site. And this will help investigators try and crack down what caused the crash. But if anybody's been affected by this particular tragedy, there'll be a number on the screen if you need some help.
OK, Antoine, thank you. An alleged sword attacker accused of murdering a schoolboy in a drug-fuelled rampage allegedly killed his pet cat before launching into a 20-minute spree of violence in Hainault. That's what the Old Bailey heard today. Taking the stand, 37-year-old Marcus Monzo spoke of taking psychedelics and drinking his own urine. He denies murdering Daniel Angerin and the attempted murder of 4 others. Kafo Pata was in court.
To know Daniel Angerin was to love him. And to know what happened on the day of his death has been a key factor of this trial.
We make reviews on...
Today, all eyes on the man accused of murdering young Daniel. Marcus Monzo took to the witness stand to give his version of events. The morning's evidence saw Monzo describe his difficult childhood, how he was bullied and abused. He spoke about his social, yet habitual drug use, how that changed his character.
100% because of travel and other things.
The court then heard about his trips to India on a retreat to see the spiritual leader Sadhguru. Monzo told the court that after the retreat, he threw away his clothes, ate less, socialized less, and engaged in urine therapy, which involved bathing and drinking his own urine. As his evidence continued, more details emerged about the man on trial. More details about what he was thinking before the Hainault attack. This afternoon, Monzo spoke about his mindset in the weeks leading up to the events in Hainault. He said he was feeling paranoid, seeing things he shouldn't have seen, and hearing a voice in his head. He said that this voice told him to kill his cat, which he did. Then it was on to the tragedy of the 30th of April last year. Monzo told the court that he packed his van with samurai swords because he thought the world was ending and that he wouldn't be coming home.
Mike, drop that now! Drop it!
He was asked about attacking members of the public. He said he did not remember.
Police officer stopped! Police officer stopped!
He was asked about attacking a police officer. Again, he did not remember.
He just killed that boy.
He was also asked about his attack on young Daniel. Same answer as before, I do not remember.
Wow.
Whilst today's focus was on Marcus Monzo, one cannot avoid the shock inflicted by last year's attack. The pain Daniel's family are no doubt still experiencing. Kaf Opata, ITV News.
A black schoolgirl who was strip-searched by Metropolitan Police officers was told she might be arrested if she refused to comply, a misconduct panel has heard. Trainee Detective Constable Christina Ling, PC Victoria Ray and PC Rafal Smidinsky, who were all PCs at the time, all denied gross misconduct over their treatment of the girl known as Child Q. She was searched in December 2020 after her school wrongly suspected she was carrying cannabis. Lawrence Fox is to go on trial in March next year, accused of encouraging people to damage ULEZ cameras via social media posts. The 47-year-old podcaster appeared at Croydon Crown Court to deny the charges. Family and friends of the Nottingham attack victims are marking the 2nd anniversary of their deaths. Hundreds of people walked through the city today in memory of Grace Somali Kumar, who was from North London, Barnaby Webber and Ian Coates. Loved ones are still demanding answers ahead of a public inquiry next year.
They still haven't named people who put this monster out in public. They haven't named the doctors and they haven't named the health workers. Why is that? Why is that they can hide behind these kind of smoke and mirrors? Because they need to be named, because this needs to be stopped, and the only way to stop it is if they're held accountable.
At a heated State of London board meeting, Mayor Sadiq Khan faced protests in the public gallery today. Tempers flared over a massive backlog in TfL minicab driver licence renewals. Hundreds, potentially thousands of the capital's 108,000 private hire drivers have been left unable to work. The family of one say the delay caused him to become highly stressed before he suffered a fatal heart attack last November. Well, Barnaby Papadopoulos is here. Barnaby, just remind us of this story.
Well, effectively, lots of private taxi drivers in London currently can't work because to work in London, you need a licence, and there's been a delay in TfL being able to issue those licences and renew those licences. Now, we're not talking about black cab drivers here. We're talking about private taxi drivers, the kind working for organisations like Bolt and Uber. And many are facing significant financial hardship as a result of this delay. Let's say you're a taxi driver, you've bought your own car, you wanted to buy a nice car to attract customers. Well, you still have to pay that off, even if you're not working. So recently, protesters interrupted a State of London board meeting, urging the Mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, to do more to tackle this. They highlighted the case of Robert Dale, a 65-year-old minicab driver who died of a heart attack last November. His family claim he was experiencing significant stress before he died because he couldn't work.
Private hire drivers should be not left, in the limbo of 3 months, Mayor, or 6 months waiting for the license. We urge you, Mayor, please. There are maybe thousands of drivers right now. As the day goes by and this backlog keeps big and big, we need you, the Mayor, a clear response.
Well, TfL blamed two things for this delay. They blame a cyber attack that impacted their systems back in September 2024. They also say they're using a new licensing system and that's causing them trouble. In terms of Robert Dale, they apologised for any upset caused to his family by their handling of the situation, but they said they couldn't comment on individual cases. In a statement, they said, "We have taken a number of steps to mitigate the impact of these delays by recruiting and training additional staff and granting short-term private hire vehicle driver licences where appropriate." But as you saw in that clip just there, drivers in limbo clearly believe more needs to be done.
Yeah, OK. Barnaby, thank you. Still to come on the programme.
She didn't want to be exposed when she got out of a car.
Roads under the hammer. We take a look at Dame Zandra's collection going up for auction next week.
Fab. All mine. No. Paul Hollywood would shake your hand, but I'm going to give you a hug. That was fabulous.
Oh, it's a hard life. We sent Sally to the Ritz to find out why it's been voted London's best restaurant. But first, it's estimated to cost Londoners over £130 million a year. Fare dodging on the Underground has become a political hot potato ever since Conservative MP Robert Jenrick decided to film himself confronting offenders for his social media. Well, now ITV London has been invited along to see how TfL is trying to tackle the problem. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
At the far end of the gate line, a man in a blue top tailgates the person in front to push through the ticket barrier. Unfortunately for him, he runs straight into an enforcement team. At first, he claims he forgot to tap out, but after saying he has a hospital appointment, he gets away with a maximum fare charge of £9.50. Transport for London estimates 3.5% of all journeys on its tubes, trains, trams and buses are made by fare dodgers. That's more than 122 million journeys a year where passengers aren't paying. TfL claws back some money from fines and penalty fares, but it still costs the organisation more than £130 million a year in lost revenue.
It's disgusting, absolutely disgusting, you know what I mean? I pay my tax and everything, so people they should pay, everyone should pay.
I've got 2 mouths to feed, so why should people get free travel if I can't?
It bothers me that I even see the staff members watching it happen, and it feels they do it with impunity.
I can understand it because I think life is tough, it's very expensive. So I think young people are struggling.
It's unfair, everybody needs to pay.
It costs a lot of money to travel, and these people are trying to ride for you free.
Excuse me, do you think it's all right not to pay? Seriously, why do you go back through the barrier and pay?
Last month, the Conservative MP Robert Jenrick was filmed confronting fare dodgers at Stratford Station in East London. One stop along the Central Line at Leighton, revenue protection officers, backed up by enforcement support officers, were trying to catch persistent offenders. Are you doing enough to stop it?
Well, we have exercise like the one you see here today happening every day across the network, but we're also always innovating and finding new ways to tackle some of the new forms of fare evasion we see.
Ticket barriers are being redesigned to make it harder to push them open, and TfL is talking to social media firms like TikTok to try to stop videos which glamorise so-called bumping. Last year, 80,000 fare dodgers were taken to court or made to pay a £100 penalty fare.
Where people lash out, swing, try to use instruments to, you know, it can get pretty volatile, and we're given particular training to try to diffuse those situations as well. But we do have instances where we do have to physically intervene and carry people out of the station.
TfL has set itself a target to cut the number of fare dodgers from 3.5% of all journeys to 1.5% by 2030. Simon Harris, ITV News, Leighton.
Bit of sport now, and Emma Raducanu is battling to stay in this year's Queen's Club event. The 22-year-old from Bromley has lost the first set to top seed Zhang Jingwen from China in their quarter-final match in West London. Football, and Tottenham have confirmed Thomas Frank as their new manager, taking over from Ange Postecoglou, who was sacked earlier this month. The 51-year-old Dane has signed a 3-year contract in North London. Thomas Frank leaves Brentford after 7 years in charge, guiding the club from the Championship to the Premier League in 2021. Well, in a statement on the Bees website, Frank said, "For my family and I, it has been a privilege to be allowed to be part of such a special community. It's an experience and an adventure that we will cherish for life. So thank you." Now, our guest tonight is a London hat maker who has just won the King's Foundation Young Entrepreneur Award. Barnaby Horn is a couture millinery label that creates bespoke hats, headpieces and masquerade masks. It's named after the founder, who's here in the studio with me now, alongside some of his amazing creations, which I think we can see on the desk. Yeah, look, Barnaby, welcome to the studio. We'll talk through some of these in a second, but first of all, shall we just take a look at what happened yesterday when you got your award? There you are. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Oh, incredible. It was amazing to meet His Majesty the King and have the opportunity to thank him for his commitment to preserving millinery craft in the UK through the King's Foundation.
Some extraordinarily famous faces there. Did you get to chat to any of them?
I did. I'm going to name drop too much now, but yeah, I got to speak to Kate Winslet, who was just excited about hats and was like, "Oh, you need to make hats for films." I'm like, "Yes, I would love to do that." Cool. And yeah, just, I mean, David Beckham and Patrick, who presented me with the award, who is lovely as well.
Yeah, he's a bit of an inspiration, isn't he, for designers and people in textile. The King, you mentioned, I guess possibly you've met him before because you did your kind of, what would you call it, your fellowship, wouldn't you, at Highgrove? It
was actually the first time, so it was the first time I got to speak to him. And I was wearing my little badge, which was talking about the 35 under 35, which is 35 makers, a community of people that were selected from the foundation and further afield that represents his values. So we had quite a lot to talk about. I was thinking that I might just say hi and bye, but we actually got to talk about millinery and what it means to keep the craft alive in the UK. And yeah, it was just wonderful to speak to.
I bet. Now listen, let's have a look at some of these hats then. I was going to ask you what your inspirations are, but I can see what's going on with this one.
Yeah, surrealism. I love surreal hats. And yeah, I'd have to put this on.
Amazing.
But, yeah, surrealism, like queer characters from literature and history. Yeah. Also been able to kind of create my own characters and really pay attention to the location of where the hat goes. It's obviously a very theatrical place where dreams happen, where our thoughts and desires are. So I like to make hats that are like artifacts of storytelling, and they can kind of tell a story when they're even not been worn. So,
that's extraordinary. This one that we're just seeing here now, that's the yellow one. That's actually
that's this one. It's a little bit more wearable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool cowboy hat. It's because I like to kind of straddle the art world and the fashion world. I like to make pieces that could be at home in a gallery and also have a place in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
It's two different kind of worlds, but you don't really need to change the hats too much. You just need to make authentic pieces, and you can speak to an audience just by, being yourself and
wearing a hat.
I'm wearing a hat.
Beautiful.
And
that's a gorgeous colour.
Thank you so much.
You model them so well.
Thank you. I've luckily, I suit hats. I've got the right job for it.
Oh, amazing. Listen, we've just got about 20 seconds left. What's the dream then for the future?
I just want to expand what I'm doing with Barnaby Horn. It's an experimental practice where I create pieces that are, as I say, artifacts of storytelling, and I want to kind of expand and have like pieces that go along with it, like performances that are anchored by heart and collaborations.
How exciting. How exciting. Barnaby, congratulations.
Thank you so
And it's
much.
been amazing to see you in your hats. Wonderful.
Thank you, lovely to meet you.
Now, some more fashion and design. Her collections are as iconic as her name itself. Dame Sandra Rhodes has been synonymous with London fashion since she first hit the scene in the late 60s. She designed garments for Princess Diana, Freddie Mercury and Mark Bolan. Now, some of those pieces from her personal archive go to auction next week, and Anna Geary's been taking a look.
The white dress with the wrap, where she didn't want to be exposed when she got out of a car.
A dress worn by Princess Diana, no less. And it goes on sale next week, when one of Britain's most flamboyant designers, Sandra Rhodes, auctions off her archive. This one is expected to fetch £10,000 at least.
I felt that my favourites should be re-exposed to the world, for people to come and buy them, maybe museums, maybe people to have something wonderful in their wardrobe.
Sandra's colourful collection spans 6 decades. In 2020, she was diagnosed with cancer, which pushed her into cataloguing her clothes. At 84, she is in remission and still working. She hopes her garments will inspire future generations.
I'm really a print designer who had to find a job. I think that these clothes really reveal the craft. Everything's hand silk screened. The edges are hand rolled and the beads are all put on by hand. Handcrafted garments that won't come to light anymore.
The proceeds of any sales will benefit her foundation to preserve Sandra's legacy and artistry.
The foundation, it will be at the top of the Fashion and Textile Museum in Bermondsey, and will be for people to study my work. We're also working out that different key people like the Met and FIT in New York and the V&A will have precious pieces.
Pieces such as those made for icons like Freddie Mercury. Fashionistas can view Sandra's bright and bohemian looks on Sunday and Monday before they go under the hammer. Anna Geary, ITV News.
Right, weather now. Here's Holly.
Today sees sunshine, sand and a spell of bamboo rafting. TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
Hello there, good evening. Today's heat and humidity leading to thunderstorms this evening. We have a yellow warning in force across the capital, but for eastern fringes, so Havering into Dartford eastwards, it's an amber warning. That's the second tier of 3. Here we could perhaps see the greatest impacts. But across the board, we've got the chance of some torrential downpours. That could lead to some flooding, frequent lightning, large hail, and some gusty, strong winds as well. Let's look at the detail. This is the feature moving its way up from the south. It does clear as we head into tomorrow, and it quietens down a bit for the weekend. Still a bit breezy on Saturday, but some sunny spells, a few showers, and a less humid feel to things as well. But yes, for this evening, this is the feature making its way up. We could all see some disruption, but perhaps the greatest chance of some impacts the further east you go. Turning drier for much of the night, staying humid, and you can see some further, possibly thundery showers just affecting us first thing tomorrow. Warnings in force until 6 a.m. Then for our Saturday, generally speaking, a few showers, a fairly bright day, I think some spells of sunshine, quite a breezy wind around, and temperatures still up to the mid-20s, but feeling less humid than today. Again, some sunny spells, just a few showers into Sunday, turning warmer again into next week.
TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And if you're being affected by hay fever at the moment, that's because we have got high and very high levels of pollen. A lot of this is grass. We've also got high weed pollen as well. Have a good weekend and take care. Bye-bye.
Now, it's arguably London's most glamorous place to dine and the only venue where men must wear a jacket and tie. But only now can the Ritz say it is officially the capital's best. An accolade picked up this week at the prestigious National Restaurant Awards, less than 4 months after executive chef John Williams was awarded with 2 Michelin stars. So why all the fuss? Well, we sent Sally Williams to conduct the ITV London taste test.
There's no doubt the Ritz is where theatre meets food, drizzled in tradition.
John Williams meets Sally Williams. I wish we were related, because then you could cook for me more. That would be my joy. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Executive chef John Williams may have raised a glass or 3 this week after winning Best Restaurant at the National Restaurant Awards.
We didn't have a clue. We were sitting there and there's a countdown. And they start at 100 and just count them down.
No.
And of course they got to the last 2 and they called out Moore Hall. I went, get in! And it wasn't meant bad for him, it was just, I knew we had won.
I'd have totally done the same.
But
John has been here 21 years, immaculately turned out, much like the other staff and, of course, the dishes.
The hat, you took me downstairs and it just fits under the ceiling. Are you the only person that wears that?
everybody wears a hat
Yeah.
during the service. I'm not so strict when they're doing their mise en place, but during the service, everybody wears a hat. Mine's just a little bit bigger.
So it should be.
The Ritz has had an incredible year, also getting its 2nd Michelin star. And for John, it's a delicate balance between tradition and staying relevant.
When Cesar Ritz opened this place, a lot of the colours, the light pinks and lights, was for the ladies to show off their complexion. That's the kind of detail he went into. Wow. And that's the kind of thing that we must hold on to and move forward into the next generation. It's so important.
While the restaurant filled for lunch, we sneaked away so I could guzzle John's favourite sweet, the vanilla macaron.
It's fab. All mine. No. All Hollywood would shake your hand, but I'm going to give you a hug. That was fabulous. And many
Lovely.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so kind.
Sally Williams living it up at the Ritz. That's it from us. The evening news is next with Lucrezia. For now, from all of us, have a nice evening. Bye-bye.